Imagine you're driving home on a Friday night. It's been a long week, you're tired, maybe a little distracted, but you're almost there. The light turns yellow just as you enter the intersection. No big deal, right? Everyone does it. Then, out of nowhere, a screech of tires, a sudden jolt, and the sickening sound of metal crumpling against metal. You step out of the car, heart pounding. The other driver is already yelling. And in that moment of panic and adrenaline, you say something. Just a few words. Something that feels completely natural, almost automatic. And according to top lawyers across the country, those few words could cost you everything. What if I told you that most drivers, even careful ones, make a single devastating mistake in the first 60 seconds after an accident? A mistake that has nothing to do with how fast they were going or who had the right of way. A mistake that turns a minor fender bender into a financial nightmare that follows them for years. Stick with me, because in the next few minutes, you're going to learn what that mistake is, why almost every driver makes it, and, most importantly, exactly what to say instead. But first, I need you to answer something honestly in your head right now. If you were in that situation, shaken up, confused, face to face with an angry stranger, what would you say? Most people think they know. And that's exactly the problem. Let's rewind. You've just had a collision. Your hands are trembling. You're checking to see if you're hurt. And the other driver walks up to you and says, "Why didn't you stop? That was completely your fault." What do? If you're like 99% of drivers, you immediately start defending yourself. You say, "I'm so sorry, I didn't see you." Or, "I was only going a little over the speed limit." Or the classic, "I had the green light. Wait, did I?" And right there, in those first 10 seconds, you've just handed the other driver's insurance company a blank check. Because here's what most people don't realize until they're sitting in a lawyer's office staring at a lawsuit. Anything you say at the scene can and will be used against you, not just by the police, by their lawyers, by their insurance adjusters, by a jury, if it comes to that. But here's where it gets strange. The mistake isn't just apologizing. That's part of it, sure. But the real error is much deeper, much more psychological, and way more dangerous. It's something that feels like common sense. It feels polite. It feels responsible. And that's exactly why it ruins people. Let me give you a real example. A few years ago, a driver in Florida, let's call him Mark, was pulling out of a grocery store parking lot. He checked both ways, crept forward slowly, and then, bam. A motorcycle came out of nowhere, clipped his front bumper, and the rider went down. Mark jumped out, saw the guy on the ground, and immediately started apologizing. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't see you. This is all my fault. I feel terrible." He was being a decent human being. He was scared and empathetic. But that single sentence, "This is all my fault," was recorded by the motorcyclist's helmet camera. And when the case went to court, Mark's own words were played for the jury. The motorcyclist had been speeding, by the way. He'd been weaving through traffic. He wasn't even supposed to be in that lane. But it didn't matter. Mark had already confessed. The final judgment? Mark was found 80% at fault. His insurance rates tripled. He had to pay $50,000 out of pocket because his liability limits weren't high enough, and all because he did what most of us would do. He tried to be nice. Almost nobody talks about this part, but the moment you say, "I'm sorry," or "my fault," or even "I didn't see you," you have just created a legal record. In many states and in the UK, those statements are admissible as evidence of liability. They are not protected, they are not casual conversation, they are testimony. And the other driver, they don't have to be a bad person to use it against you. Their insurance company will force them to, because insurance companies are not in the business of paying claims. They are in the business of avoiding them, and your own words are their favorite weapon. But wait, it gets worse, because the mistake doesn't end with what you say out loud. The bigger mistake, the one that lawyers see over and over again, is what you don't do in those first few minutes. And that missing action is exactly what turns a simple accident into a years-long legal battle. Let me ask you a question. After a crash, what's the very first thing you should do? Most people will say, check for injuries. That's right. But the second thing, most people get that one wrong too. Here's what actually happens in the real world. Two cars collide. Both drivers get out. They exchange angry words or nervous apologies. They look at the damage. Maybe they take a few photos. Someone calls the police. And then they stand around waiting, talking, and slowly forgetting the details. By the time the officer arrives 15 or 20 minutes later, their memories have already changed. The adrenaline has faded. The stories have shifted. And that's where the silent killer lives. Because what you don't do in that window, what almost nobody does, is quietly, immediately, and systematically document everything, not just the damage, not just the license plate, everything. A top defense lawyer in Texas once told me that in over 20 years of practice, he's never lost a case where his client had a complete, time-stamped video and audio record from the first 30 seconds after the crash. Never. And he's also never seen a driver actually do it. Because in the chaos, we forget. We assume the police report will get it right. We assume the truth will come out. We assume the other driver will be honest. This changes everything. Because the other driver might be honest, but their memory is just as flawed as yours. And the insurance adjuster who reviews your claim 3 weeks later, they weren't there. All they have is paperwork, statements, and a very strong incentive to pay you as little as possible. So what does the lawyer recommend? It's simple, almost embarrassingly simple, but almost nobody does it. The moment you are safely able to do so, you pull out your phone. You do not call anyone yet. You open the camera app and you start recording a video. Not photos, video. You narrate out loud, calmly, exactly what you see. You say, "It is 6:42 p.m. on Saturday, October 14th. I am at the intersection of Main and 2nd Street. The weather is clear, the roads are dry, I was traveling northbound. The other vehicle was traveling eastbound. The light was green for me for at least 10 seconds before I entered the intersection." Then you walk around both cars, slowly showing the damage, the position of the vehicles, the skid marks, the traffic lights, the signs, everything. You do not stop recording. You do not edit. You do not apologize. You do not accuse. You simply document. And then something unexpected happens. When the other driver sees you doing this, 9 times out of 10, their entire demeanor changes. They stop yelling. They stop blaming. They suddenly become very careful about what they say because they know instinctively that they're being recorded. You haven't threatened them. You haven't argued. You've just quietly created an unbreakable record of reality. That video is worth more than 1,000 police reports because the police officer didn't see the crash. You did. And that video locks in your memory before time, stress, and conversation can warp it. But here's the twist. Even if you do everything right, even if you stay silent, document everything, and never admit fault, you can still lose. Because the mistake most drivers make isn't just about the first minute after the crash, it's about the first week. And it's about something most people think is protecting them. I'm talking about your insurance company. Almost every driver believes that their own insurance company is on their side. You pay them every month. They send you those cheerful emails. Their ads show helpful agents smiling at kitchen tables. Surely when something goes wrong, they'll fight for you, right? The reality is completely different. Your insurance company is a for-profit business. Their goal is to pay out as little as possible on every claim. And when you call them to report an accident, the person on the other end of the line is not your advocate. They are a trained adjuster whose job is to get you to say things that limit their liability. They will sound friendly. They will sound concerned. They will ask you seemingly innocent questions like, "How are you feeling?" Or, "Do you think you might have been a little distracted?" And if you answer honestly, if you say, "Well, I was a bit tired," or "My neck is a little sore, but it's probably nothing," congratulations. You have just given them evidence to reduce or deny your claim. That recording is permanent, and it will be used against you. This is why every personal injury lawyer will give you the same advice, and almost no one follows it. After an accident, you do not give a recorded statement to your own insurance company without a lawyer present. You do not answer their questions about how you feel. You do not speculate about fault. You say 3 words and 3 words only. "I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened. I'm not sure how I feel. I'm not sure if I need medical attention." Then you say, "I'd like to speak with an attorney before providing any further statement." And you hang up. That one sentence changes the entire power dynamic because once you invoke your right to counsel, the adjuster knows they cannot pressure you. They cannot trick you. They have to deal with a professional who knows exactly what your claim is worth. But most drivers don't do this. Most drivers feel guilty. They feel responsible. They want to be cooperative. They want to get it over with. And that natural human instinct is exactly what the system is designed to exploit. Let me take you inside the mind of an insurance adjuster for a moment. This is not speculation. This is how they are trained. When you call to report an accident, they have a checklist. And the very first item on that checklist is, determine if the caller will accidentally admit fault within the first 2 minutes. If yes, flag the claim as low value. If no, escalate to a senior adjuster who will try again later. They know you're stressed, they know you're scared, they know you want to be helpful, and they use all of that against you. A former adjuster from a major UK insurance company once described it this way in a leaked training manual. "The first call is where the money is won or lost. If the policyholder gives us a reason to deny or reduce liability in the first 3 minutes, we have saved the company thousands. If they don't, we still have many opportunities, but the first call is the easiest." Read that again. The easiest, not the fairest, not the most accurate, the easiest. So what does this mean for you? It means that the mistake most drivers make isn't just one thing. It's a cascade of errors that starts the second they step out of the car. They speak when they should stay silent. They apologize when they should observe. They trust when they should verify. They cooperate when they should protect. And the regret comes later, sometimes much later, 6 months after the accident, when a letter arrives from a lawyer. 2 years later, when their insurance is canceled for no apparent reason. 3 years later, when they try to buy a new policy and discover they've been blacklisted because of a pattern of liability. This is not fear-mongering. This is the reality of how civil liability works in the US and the UK. And the most frustrating part for lawyers, every single one of these mistakes is completely preventable. So let's close the loop. Let me give you the exact playbook that lawyers wish every driver would memorize. And I'm going to keep it simple enough that you'll actually remember it when your heart is pounding and your hands are shaking. Step 1, stop. Breathe. Do not get out of the car immediately if it's unsafe. Check yourself for injuries first. Step 2, if you are able and only then, exit the vehicle. Do not apologize. Do not accuse. Do not discuss fault. Say nothing about what you saw or didn't see. The only words out of your mouth should be, "Is everyone okay? I'm going to call for help." Step 3, call the police, even for a minor accident. Even if the other driver wants to handle it privately, never handle it privately, never accept cash, never trust a promise, get a police report. Step 4, document everything with a continuous video. Narrate the time, date, location, weather, direction of travel, and what you remember about the light or signs. Then walk around both vehicles. Show the damage, show the license plates, show the other driver's face, show the surrounding area. Step 5, do not sign anything at the scene. Do not exchange anything except insurance information and driver's license details. Do not agree to pay for anything. Do not accept payment for anything. Step 6, when you call your insurance company, say only that you've been in an accident. Give them the basic facts, time, place, other driver's info. When they ask for a recorded statement, say these exact words, "I'm not comfortable giving a statement without speaking to an attorney first. I'll call you back." Step 7, see a doctor, even if you feel fine, even if it's just a checkup. Some injuries, especially soft tissue and concussion, don't show up for days. And if you wait, the insurance company will argue that your injury wasn't caused by the accident. Step 8, call a lawyer if there are any injuries, any disputes about fault, or any significant damage. Most personal injury lawyers offer free consultations. Use them. You are not committing to a lawsuit. You are getting advice from someone who knows the system better than you do. One sentence. That's all it takes. One sentence can save you. One sentence can destroy you. The choice is yours. And here's the question I want you to answer in the comments right now. Be honest. Before watching this video, would you have apologized at the scene? Would you have said, "I'm sorry" or "my fault"? Most people would, and that's not a judgment. That's just being human. But now that you know better, what would you do differently? I read every single comment, and I promise you, the stories that people share in the replies to this video are going to be eye-opening. Some of them will be success stories. Some of them will be painful lessons learned too late. But all of them will prove the same thing. The mistake most drivers make is not about driving at all, it's about talking. So here's my final thought for you. The next time you get behind the wheel, you're probably not going to crash. Statistically, you'll arrive safely. But if that 1 in 1,000 moment ever happens, you now have a choice. You can react like 99% of drivers. You can speak, apologize, explain, and hope for the best. Or you can remember this video, you can stay calm, you can stay quiet, you can document, and you can protect yourself. Most drivers won't, but you're not most drivers. You're the one who watched until the end, and that changes everything. If you found this valuable, there's a video I made about the single most dangerous sentence you can say to a police officer during a traffic stop. It's linked right here, and I promise you it will change how you think about every single interaction you have with law enforcement from now on. Go watch it, and I'll see you in that video. Drive safe, stay smart, and for once in your life, keep your mouth shut.